Hello, and welcome everyone. Today's video features the brand new Pan-American battleship, Libertad. Now, this has the potential to be a new secondary monster and is described in-game as Year of Design 1944, a mighty battleship whose design could have incorporated a number of design solutions specific to the South American dreadnought race. These would include, among other things, the obsolete main battery layout of 6 twin-gun turrets. The ship's air defense would rely on artillery systems, which the battleship could have received during modernization in the United States in the 1940s. So a paper ship, most definitely. This could potentially have a lot going for it, and it has just entered testing, so let's go take a look at what is currently on the cutting board. We will start with the armor layout, fore-end plating lower and upper of 32 millimeters. We take this off, we can see internal armor at Warships 51, 51. The main deck is really solid, 51 millimeters. All of this upper casemate is 51. Deck comes in 2 sections, all 51 millimeters. So very solid. Armor plating on the superstructure is 19. Same here, 32 millimeters on the stern. If we start dissecting and take off the torpedo plating or the torpedo protection, 51 millimeters, we can see the belt armor, 406, running from the rear turret to in front of the front turret. At the Warship 102, 51, 151, all pretty solid. We look at the actual Citadel armor. We can see it is ever so slightly above the waterline, but remember there is an additional 51 millimeter plating, so we've got this spaced effect. 51 millimeters on the outside with 406. Off. And that's the Citadel deck armor is 110 millimeters, so quite solid. This ties in to the survivability, 85,500 hit points, and a torpedo protection damage reduction of 31%. Jump straight to the consumables or repair parties with this build, and damage control party. Now you can see I am running with a full secondary build spec here. Reload mod also in slot 6. Quick look at the captain skills. Full secondaries. I have dropped the emergency repair for an extra heal, so I'm currently testing with concealment expert and fire prevention. There is a reason for this, why I'm using concealment expert. We'll cover this when we come to the guns. So that's the build. Let's start with the guns. Main battery, you get 6 of these twin mounted 419 millimeters. 2 here 4, 2 centrally mounted, and 2 here at the stern. So 12 of these 419 millimeter guns. They have a 30-second reload. They can rotate 180 degrees in 36 seconds. A max dispersion of 265 meters. And a max firing range of 20.5 kilometers. I believe the Sigma on these guns is 1.7. You have high explosive and armor piercing. The high explosive has a max damage of 5750, 5750, 36% fire chance. They can pen 70 millimeters of armor and have a shell speed of 804 meters per second. The armor piercing has 11,700 max damage with a slightly slower shell speed of 747 meters per second. So this leads into the secondary battery. Now the secondary battery, you get 2 gun calibers, 8 of these single mounted 127mm. These have a 3.4 second reload. Now with this build, the max firing range is 12.5, but we have some juicy combat instructions to make this even better. The max damage, 1800, 6% fire chance. They can pen 21mm of armor and have a shell speed of 792 meters per second. This leads into the 234mm guns. You get 20 of these, 5 on each side. It's like having a cruiser strapped to each side of your ship. 10 of these twin-mounted 234s. So you get 10 guns on each side. 7.5 second reload, same max range of 12.5, a max damage of 3050, 23% fire chance. They can pen 59mm of armor and have a shell speed of 761 meters per second. Now let's go and look at the combat instructions. These will give you direct control over secondary battery crews. The name is a little bit misleading. You don't have necessarily direct control. This is just the name. Now what this does, it will give you a 10% boost in firing range. This essentially brings the max firing range out to 13.75 kilometers. Insane long range secondaries. It not only increases the range, it increases the secondary battery damage. Now by 30%. So the smaller gun caliber 127s, that damage will be just under 2400. And the max damage on the 234mm will be just over 5000 for the duration of the activated combat instructions. Now you get a process bar that can be filled by not only shots on target, but by potential damage. You can see the individual stats here. 1000 HP of potential damage, 0.15% progress, and enemy ships hit with main battery shells, 4%. So really, really effective combat instructions. You get a huge damage boost and a range increase. This range of 13.75 kilometers is actually quite insane, because you get detected by an enemy target that is visible. They're already inside your secondary range when the combat instructions is active, of course. So moving to the airstrike, you get 2 available flights, 30-second reload, 2 flights, 1 aircraft per attacking flight, max operational range of 11 kilometers. They can drop 2 bombs with a max bomb damage of 4,900. Moving to the AA defense, 16 of these single-mounted Huracans, 20mm, 16 of these single-mounted, located primarily on the gun turrets from what I can see. 20 of these twin-mounted 20mm Huracans, so 40 of these in total. Bofors, 16 twin-mounted 40mm, very recognizable Bofors guns. 16 of these, so 32 in total. An additional 4 quad-mounted 40mm Bofors, so plenty of air defense. And these 127mm secondary battery guns are dual purpose. These 127s, 8 of them. So all combined, this is a continuous average damage of 393. You can see the individual values here on screen. It is an even spread between short range and medium range, and then a small amount of long range damage. Shell explosions. Libertad can fire 5 shell explosions per flak salvo. They have a max damage of 1851, priority sector reinforcement of 35%, and a firing range of 5.8 kilometers. Now, having so many main battery guns and secondary battery guns, this ship is huge. And that is reflected here in her maneuverability. Take off the flag. Her max speed, or base speed, is 30 knots. I am using the Sierra mic, 31.5. I am also using Brisk for an additional 10% while she is undetected, and her concealment is quite good, 13 kilometers. Turning circle radius is, of course, massive, being such a huge ship, 1,020 meters, and the rudder shift time is 14.1 seconds. Again, I am using the steering gears mod to improve this. So finally, stats-wise, concealment rating of 43. This equates to a surface detection range of 13 kilometers. You will be surface detected by subs and aircraft at 12.1 kilometers. So this is the Libertad, a ship literally bristling with offensive armament, having the potential to have 13.75 kilometer secondary battery range with improved damage for the duration of this combat instruction. We could have a new secondary monster at tier 10. So this is the Libertad that is currently in testing. I hope you enjoyed this little short preview video. Now, a quick reminder, this ship is in testing and subject to balance changes throughout the testing process. So what you're seeing now might not be the finished version. If you'd like to see some live gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all.